it's Renee with Delaney Jane Cards. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am over on the Scrap Perfect blog, and I am showing you how to make this really super cute strawberry candy box out of an ornament die. This ornament die has been in my stash for a couple of years. It was a My Monthly Hero kit from November of 2016. This transparency sheet too that I got from Amuse Studio. This is pretty old too. It's probably been in my stash just as long, if not longer. So what I did is I die cut the ornament die from a piece of this transparency here so it's clear, and it's super hard to see, so I did pull in the tissue paper that it's on so that I could at least back it so you could kind of see what I was doing. I guess I didn't really think it through making a clear project on a video. It doesn't seem all that smart. But I thought this was pretty innovative, and I thought it was really kind of creative. So I thought this would be something I'd like to share with you. So I painted on the best glue ever here on what will be the two back diamonds of this box. It's got four sides, so the two in the back where the flap is that you like glue it together, I'm making those colored so that the strawberry has color. I could have just made it out of cardstock, I guess, but then you couldn't see what's inside, and I thought that was the cute part of this. So I painted on all that adhesive, and then I used my microfiber cloth and some water, and I just cleaned up my brush. I did clean it up like that multiple times through this whole process, and it cleaned up really well. That glue does come off really nicely with water, so if you're worried about cleanup, that is not a problem. I am pretty impatient, so and I can't dry this with a heat gun, so I like waved it around, and I was like, come on, dry. It really didn't take but a couple minutes. And you really need to use a very thin layer. The parts that look like they're white there, they probably have too much adhesive on them. Honestly, you probably could leave me some tips and tricks on how to do a better job. So once it was dry, now this glue dries tacky, then I used the foil from Scrap Perfect to foil the adhesive areas. And I had used this foil in a previous project, so it wasn't a full sheet. It had some pieces out of it. The adhesive will just grab on. So like if you miss a piece, you just move it to where the foil can stick to the glue, and it does. So there's the two back pieces. Now I could leave it like this, but I wanted to reinforce the folds. I hadn't done that to begin with, so I did it at this point. I could have done it before this. I just didn't think of it. But this is a really thick transparency, so even though there are like crease lines from the die, they really don't fold as nice as paper does because it's made to die cut paper. So I folded all of the folds between the panels really nicely and reinforced them with my bone folder, and then just with my fingers I folded the midline. Then I took more of this Best Glue Ever and I painted the back of each of the foiled panels. And I did this just because I wanted a finished look. I didn't want the back of my strawberry to be silver. I mean, really, I don't think in the end, if it was silver, somebody would be like, yeah, it's great and all. I'm glad you gave me a bunch of chocolate, and I appreciate that, but you know this box is silver on the back, right? I don't think that in the moment that somebody's going to really be worried about the silver in the back of the box, but I wanted it to be the same pink foil. So there, I cleaned off my brush again. I did make sure I cleaned it off pretty quickly after I used it each time. I don't have a ton of brushes in my craft room, so I really need to make sure that I clean up my brushes. So here I was just adding the foil on once the adhesive was dry enough for the foil to adhere. And this piece of foil is sadly gone now. I need to I need to reorder some foil so that this apparently is my favorite color of this foil. I've used it in 2 projects now, and I am now sad that it is gone. So there, I have foiled both sides of those triangles. And then I folded the flap up so I could see exactly where I wanted to put the adhesive on it. And then just put a little bit on there and then rubbed it around or brushed it around with my paintbrush. Again, cleaned off my brush. So this is the die and stamp set that came with that. So what I did here is I die cut 4 of these little tags, and then there was that other rectangle kind of tag. I did die cut 1 of those, and this is going to be the top of my strawberry. So I put a little bit of the best glue ever on there and brushed it around with my paintbrush, and I didn't cover the whole thing. I just kind of brushed it around. I wasn't really too worried about it being perfect. In fact, I wanted it to not be perfect. I want to add some ink blending over top of this to add a little bit of interest, and well, you can't have perfect if you want to do that. I do find that if I use this little cloth, I get better results than just rubbing my finger on the foil. So that is what it is. And here I used some, I think this is crushed olive, maybe. I'll have it on the screen. And I ink blended these little, they're actually tags. They're not meant to be the top of a strawberry, but well, we are breaking all the rules today. So I ink blended the tags, and the foil doesn't take on the tag, the color of the ink blending. It actually resists it, so it's really kind of nice. And then I stamped treat inside on the other little tag that I made. And once that adhesive was dry, I was able to put my box together. To put plastic to plastic, you want to wait till the adhesive is tacky, so it's clear, and then it will hold together. And see, well, I was making sure that I didn't have any adhesive stuck anywhere else. So I'm using these little black microbeads. They're in the tiny bottles of embellishments that they have. I had the name across the screen there for you. They have like an assortment of these super cute bottles, first of all, that have adorable tiny little embellishments in them. I mean, shaker cards 100%, but when I was thinking this strawberry, I was thinking about these little microbeads. Like, what makes better seeds than microbeads, right? So I drew on little seeds, and then I sprinkled the beads over top of the adhesive. Oh, to get it off, I just used my scissors, and it's like my reverse tweezers, and it's just like a little stopper that's in the bottle. It's these bottles are so cute. When it's empty, I'm going to be using it for other things because adorable. So I sprinkled these beads on. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard, about filling your cup or whatever, and you put rocks in there first, and then pebbles, and then sand, and you can get more in than if you decided to go like sand first, then pebbles, then rocks. You wouldn't get very much in there. So I put those little microbeads on my strawberry, and it didn't cover all of the adhesive, but I'll get to that in a minute. So there, I was just making sure that my strawberry was adhered together nicely. And then I put together the top of my strawberry. Around each of these tags is, the little loop. So I just added a little of the best glue ever to each of those loops, and I adhered all of these pieces together to make the top of my strawberry. I did 4 because there's 4 sides. I thought that would be really good. And then when I looped my twine through my tag, I did put a little glue there to hold it. Then I pulled out glitter. I know, right? And I sprinkled that over top of my strawberry box to fill in all the spots where the adhesive was still wet. Now, before I did all that, and what I didn't show is I did use the Scrap Perfect like embossing bag on there. That glitter didn't stick anywhere it wasn't supposed to. It was like the first time I ever used glitter, and I was like, hey, I don't have glitter in all the places that it's not supposed to be. So I threaded this. It's not really twine, it's silver. embroidery thread, but it's not the whole piece. At one time I bought some and I like took it apart, and I think it's like 2 or 3 strands of embroidery thread. And then I just fed the strawberry top on, and then I added this little tag that says treat inside, and I tied this like an ornament. So it's a loop. And I thought, gosh, that's super cute. It is cute, isn't it? I did put some Lindor truffles inside because they're red. I just thought that that was really cool. But like those strawberry candies would be really fun in there. So here are some close-up still shots of my project today. I was really excited to share it with you. I'm glad you stopped by, and I'll have the link below to the Scrap Perfect blog, and go and check them out. I would love it if you would like and subscribe and comment. And as always, give cards generously. Bye.